Hello everyone, Fanta here, and you're watching Fantavision. Today I'm discussing a game that I feel like is kind of underrated, kind of not. It's more of not really talked about as much as its other console first-party counterparts, and that's the Donkey Kong series. Now, this game is by no means not popular, but I never really hear anybody discussing their excitement for a new one, even though they've all been amazing. Like, I can't think of a bad one, and that's Donkey Kong. I mean, Donkey Kong is such a great series. I remember my first experience with Donkey Kong was Donkey Kong Country. I don't remember which one, but I think it was the first one, and you're in the mine shaft. And I was a little kid, and I just remember that level just was so difficult. And I don't remember which mine shaft level it was, but oh my god, it kicked my ass as a kid. Now it's a lot of fun, and I can beat it. But when I was a kid, I was even worse at video games than I am now, and that's saying something. But I just remember that level just kicking my ass over and over and over, but I was just having so much fun with the game. Like, all the other levels were just so much fun. The fact that you can kind of do like a sort of pseudo two-player, pseudo co-op, where you're trying to like beat the game together, but you take turns, and it was just such a fun experience. I loved the graphics. I still love the graphics. I think the graphics have held up very well on the Super Nintendo, and I feel like most games really have on the Super Nintendo. I mean, it's just a timeless system, and it's always gonna kind of have those like arcadey looking graphics they're pixely, but they're not too pixely. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's just kind of like the perfect era of retro. I mean, if I go back and play NES, I can play it, but just, everything's ugly except for Mario. And you're just like, well, Ghosts and Goblins isn't bad. There's a couple games on there that aren't bad, but a lot of the games are just pixely messes. Whereas the Super Nintendo, oh my god, I mean, Castlevania's better, Mario's better, Mario Kart didn't exist in the original Nintendo, but there were just so many improvements with the system, and it's just amazing. It's kind of like how well the GameCube aged. Like, the GameCube aged perfectly. N64, we don't have to talk too much about the N64. I still love the N64, but that's because I have nostalgia goggles duct taped to my head for it, because it was my first console. But, I mean, there's been so many great systems, and all those systems had a great Donkey Kong game. Even the NES, the original Donkey Kong game where you're playing as Mario trying to get up there, or Donkey Kong 2 where you're Donkey Kong Jr., or it's one of the Donkey Kong games, and you're swinging around, and it was a ton of fun. They were great platforming games, even the simple one. And so this has been such a great series, and now that Tropical Freeze has been re-released because nobody bought the Wii U, I thought this would be a great time to talk about it. And I'm excited for another one, especially since Tropical Freeze got re-released. I was like, wait a second, I understand that you have to re-release basically everything that was in the Wii U, because like I said, nobody bought the system, but I want a new one. I mean, this is such a great franchise. I love every single one of the Donkey Kong Country games. Donkey Kong 64 was a ton of fun. Once again, didn't age too well. And I guess it can't get remastered because of the licenses and just kind of the up in the air things about that, but I would love for that to get remastered out of anything. Even if they remastered the original 3 Donkey Kong countries, if they could do that somehow, that'd be awesome. But you know what? I'd rather have another original one, because Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Country, fuck was it called? And Donkey Kong Country Returns, they were just great, and they were new, and they were made by Retroware, which is actually the same company that ported over Tropical Freeze to the Switch. So of course it's going to be a great port, because it's by the original creators of the game, which was great, because a lot of the times they'll give it to some random third-party company and they'll just butcher it. So it's a good thing they went back to the source, and I've heard that Retroware, though, has been working on a new game, but I don't think it's been confirmed as a Donkey Kong game yet. I hope it is, because like I said, I feel like it's a series that really should get more recognition. And I know that everybody looks back fondly on Donkey Kong Country, and everybody says that the Donkey Kong series is such a great series, but people are always asking for the new Metroid, the new Zelda, the new... Well, some people ask about the new Kirby game, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Donkey Kong is the least talked about in the Nintendo franchises. And I just don't understand why. I mean, he's such a great character. The games are always very challenging and difficult, but they're always fair. And they kind of give you that challenge you don't really get in a lot of Nintendo games these days. A lot of the Mario games are pretty damn easy. Some levels are more challenging than others, but most of them are pretty easy. Of course, they're still amazing games, don't get me wrong, but Donkey Kong has a different style of platforming. It has the barrels, which are a ton of fun. It has a lot more, like the weird animals you can ride in Donkey Kong Country. There's just so many things in these games that can't be done in Mario that should be explored even further. I want a new Donkey Kong game is basically what this video is about. And honestly, this video is also for people who haven't played this series at all. If the Nintendo Switch is for some reason your first Nintendo console, pick up Tropical Freeze. I know it's stupid that they re-released it in $60, but pick it up. Seriously, it's such a fun game, such a great series, and I think after you play it, you'll be just as excited as I am for the next entry in the series. And if you do have a 3DS but you don't have any other systems, Donkey Kong Country Returns is also on the 3DS, and they actually did a great job on that port as well. So if you're looking for a Donkey Kong game, there's almost one on every console. I can't really think of one for the GameCube. I could be wrong. There's a picture of one up there because I probably am wrong. I think it's Donkey Konga. Was there another one that isn't just the bongos? There's gotta be one, right? It can't just be the bongos game. But even with the bongos game, I know a lot of people really enjoyed that, and I can't think of a really bad Donkey Kong game. I just can't. Like, off the top of my head, it's just been such a great series throughout its entire lifespan on every console, and I can't think of a bad one. Another reason I'm making this video is because not only am I just really hoping that they come out with a new game, not only do I find that it's kind of an, you know, it should be more talked about, you know? More people should discuss these games, more people should be excited for a new one, and also, we're going to be streaming Tropical Freeze tonight on Twitch. I know that was a really scummy plug, but I'm excited to play the game again. I didn't really have too much of a chance to play it on the Wii U. I did play Donkey Kong Country Returns on the 3DS. I played it a little bit on the Wii, and I played all the originals, and I played Donkey Kong 64, and I'm super excited to play Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze again because it's a game that, like I said, I didn't have too much time to spend with it, and when I did start playing it, and I did play a couple levels, the graphics are just so beautiful, and the gameplay is just so smooth, and just everything is just amazing in that game. And that's why I'm so excited for another one. And you know what? I might be stupid, and once the Switch version drops in price a bit, because come on, Nintendo, come on. Don't charge that much for a platformer. Come on. Come on, especially a re-release. Like, I guess platformer's fine, you can charge that much for a platformer, but it's a re-release of a game that was out already. And even if it hasn't been played by a lot of people, it still should have been given a slightly more budget price tag. But maybe in the future I'll pick it up for Funky Mode, which I guess you can play as Funky Kong, which usually Funky Kong is your mode of transportation, it's like a fast travel around the levels. In the first game he was free, in the second game I think he's a dickhead, and he like charges you money for some reason. Just starts extorting you. Like, you don't have a choice. You're like, I need to go back. And he's like, oh, that'll be money. And you're like, well, I can't. I can't afford it. Oh, I think saving costed coins in the old game too. I think they made it really brutal. I think it was the second one they made it really brutal. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. But Funky Kong, you could be as Funky Kong and you can surf on top of spikes and you can do different things. So it adds like a whole new element to the game, which I feel like almost adds a whole nother reason to rebeat the game, because this whole new character and all the characters, they all like play differently. They feel different, at least in my opinion. And I don't know. I'm just excited for a new Donkey Kong in the future. I'm hoping E3 has one. I'm hoping RetroWare has been working on one. And also Nintendo, where the hell is Animal Crossing? I know that has nothing to do with Donkey Kong, but I had to say it. So, comment down below what one of your favorite memories is with Donkey Kong. And what was your first Donkey Kong game that you played? Like I said, mine was the first Donkey Kong Country, and that's still one of my favorite Donkey Kong games. It might be my favorite Donkey Kong game, even though I rage super hard because it is a very difficult game. I think it's probably my favorite out of all of them. And also, subscribe for more content like this. And as always, everyone, have a fantastic day. See ya. Also, quick update on the podcast. We are at 62% of the way there. I want to thank everybody who's a patron already. Thank you so much. Oh my God, the support has been crazy already. The support on Twitch has also been super crazy. I love having you guys come out, chat with us, and just discuss randomness. Like, sometimes they get a little bit crazy, but oh my God, it's so much fun talking to you guys over on Twitch. And I think that's the main reason why Twitch is so much fun. It's just because I get to talk to you guys sort of live. It's like a text Skype chat with a bunch of people at once. It's really interesting. I don't know. I just love the social aspect of it. And it also makes playing video games a lot more fun too, because a lot of you guys are actually really helpful because Eric and I are just terrible at video games. So thank you everyone for the support. Thank you to everyone who subscribed, and more content on the way.